Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to my trading journal. Um, we have missed all trades this week, and finally the week has ended. And I kind of realized that the reason I'm missing everything is because I'm missing one key point to my trading process. So I can recognize the trend weekly. I can recognize the daily, which confirms my direction, but then I'm failing, and I've constantly failed at the entry signal. And what I have done this week, I have kind of looked back at all of Alex's videos, all of them that were teaching about the entry signal, and kind of, a few different strategies that he's applying at a lower time frame, higher time frame, and kind of, getting a better understanding of what the market does when you prepare to enter a trade. And now, not every week has got a potential, obviously, to have a trade, but I've missed way too many. I missed 6 weeks, I think. Or maybe I'm a little bit too long. I don't think it's 6 weeks. Sorry, guys. I think it's 4 weeks. And what happened is, when you're missing so many, that means the market is obviously done its thing, and I was just not able to recognize the entry signal. And it is pretty obvious that's exactly what's happening. So after watching these videos, it's a little bit clearer in my mind on how it needs to happen. Now, obviously, those videos, when you watch them, there's always something new that you pick up and you see. And unfortunately, there isn't an Alex at the other end to be able to text or call and say, hey, what did you mean by this and what did you mean by that? But we can only try and see what's happening and learn from it. One thing is for certain, that the markets have not stopped moving. They have continuously moved, and they created higher highs and higher lows and lower highs. And opportunity has happened pretty much every day and every week. And as you can see, if you have been looking at my channel for a while, all my journaling, all my trades and stuff, I haven't taken them, but I was able to recognize them and mark them, and the trade have moved as I kind of seen it, but I was just not able to lock in the entry signal, which is bad. But equally, it makes me happy knowing that I'm able to get so close to being, better at trading, right? So every every Friday I have a lot more hope for the following week, and Monday I'm gonna get excited for trades for next week and so on. And I think it's really important to not lose motivation. Now, I had a really, really busy week, but I managed to at least check every day and look at my phone, look at the computer, and I could literally see the trades just like dripping between my fingers. I could see them getting away and missing that entry signal, and then I can see the entry signal, but then I missed it. Now, because I am kind of so locked in at trading at the area of interest, that I've actually, waited too long for the entry signal to show. And what that meant is I would have been too late. So I felt hesitant. I felt scared to enter. And we're gonna break them down. I only have these five on my screen now. Those five trades is the trades that we've done the analysis on. I think on Monday, and they had some like decent opportunities in them. We could have made a substantial amount of sorry, I just got an email. But they had a substantial amount of let's say volume, and they moved a substantial amount of pips, I should say. And I could have definitely made my trades. Now, remember, my trades are just 0.5, 1 to 0.5 risk to reward. And the reason for that is, as a beginner trader, as you're going to see here too, even if you make a mistake, but you can kind of avoid a loss with having a small take profit. Now, I know um, from an experienced trader point of view, that's stupid, and you should never look at that. And you should be like, probabilities are like, you should apply the probability. So if you say take 10 trades with $100 each, the ones you lose versus the one you make back, you should always like get out in profit. And I do agree, but when you have a shitty account that's say $500, it doesn't work like that. So you need to, the way I look at it, I need to grow my account faster. Once my account has reached a substantial amount, then I can start kind of changing my risk on the trades, and just try and adjust and become to a better um, like value for trades. But while you're learning, I feel that I shouldn't expose myself to such a big loss. But at least these trades, they're not going to bankrupt me while I'm only taking such a small profit. And yes, I'm going to hate it when I can see it moved heaps and I stopped at 0.5. But equally, when you see it going completely opposite, which is what you're going to see here, you'll realize, okay, hey, that was a good move to take profit at 0.5. But anyway, there's a lot to learn, and every day, every week, I'm looking at the markets. There's always something happening, and looking at Alex's videos, the latest ones, it is not about winning every trade, but it's about creating an edge. Like actually looking at it and understanding it. And it is, it's easy to see it once you spend enough time. But when you're a beginner, it's not as easy. It's not as easy, and you will lose. I lose money, I lose time, I lose everything, but I'm still staying focused to be at least profitable by Christmas, okay? And kind of prove to me whether trading can change my life. But equally, I know is whether I can change my life to be a successful trader, because it's clear to me that I'm not spending enough time in front of the computer. It's Friday today. This is our second update for this week. We're supposed to have 3 updates. We're supposed to have a Sunday market analysis, and at least Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, we should have a midweek update for the trades that we've taken, and then close the week off with the learnings and the mistakes and everything like that. But unfortunately, because I haven't taken any trades, I haven't had time. I definitely think I'm not a good, um, let's say, I'm not a good student. I'm not spending enough time. I'm not learning enough. So if you are in the same place I am, don't feel too bad. It's normal. This shit is gonna happen. You have commitments, you have family. You just cannot stop that from happening, but you just have to do your best. And I'm doing my best. This is to my very best of my abilities. I think the most important is that I haven't lost the fire, the burning desire to actually be successful, and the fact that I'm doing these videos, and every day I go to work and I come back, and whatever I'm finding myself in the car, I'm just listening to these lessons. And it may not be the best place to be to learn those things, but it's extra information always kind of writing itself in my brain over and over again. Now I am in my mid to late 30s, and I guess my mind is not as sharp as it used to be, but I refuse to believe that. I just know that if I really want it, I can do it. And I mean, look, you just have to try. You just have to try and just kind of create an edge and be positive, but also be wise about it. Do not just throw, like, say, $10,000 at it and then hope that you're gonna make 100,000. Because if you can make money, small money, you can make big money. What I mean by that is, with the my thinking of growing a small account to a big account is basically just compounding small sums, and always just, this is the part that you're probably gonna hate, but like, this is how I'm looking at it. And at the end of the day, all I have to lose is $100, because that's how much I put in it, right? So that $100 right now has become 500. Now my last trade I took on that account is 45 or $47 less, so I'm like 450. Now imagine this 450, I put them all in the trade, and I can make half of that every time I trade. I only need 12 or 13 trades to get to 100K, and yes, that is a lot to ask for, but that's just my logic. That's what I'm going to try and do. And I know the only way to do it is either go to prop firms, which I absolutely hate the idea, or just keep burning $100 until I make it to 100K. Now, will I be happy if I lose 50K because I done a wrong trade? I'm not going to be happy. Will I risk 50K? I have no fucking idea. We're going to get there, and I'm going to see. I know $50,000 is a lot of money, and probably I would say, just knowing myself now, I would rather have the security of tomorrow and being able to keep trading. So I guess the closer I get to the goal, the more I'm gonna allow a buffer. So the way I feel about it is that I'm gonna start aggressive, but then probably I would say as soon as I get into the 20,000s and maybe the 30,000s, I think I'm going to drop down on risking on the whole account, and maybe just risk again half of the whole account, and then at least I have 15K to play with, and try and grow that. And once you get to 100K, exactly the same thing, just drop it down to, you know, maybe 5,000 risk, and then look for trades that are a little bit better risk to reward. So kind of aggressive at the beginning to start with, based on the idea that I'm only losing $100. That's the money I invested. Now, honestly, I play lotto. I pay almost $200 a week. So even if I lose say the account was at like 15 grand and I lost a whole lot, yes, I'll feel really fucking angry. But at the end of the day, it's bank money. You know, it's not bank. It's like house money. It's not my money. It's money that I made from the markets. The only money that I spend from my personal bank is $100, right? So that's the logic. That's what I'm thinking about, and that's how I need to think of it, because otherwise you'll never make it, and you'll never make it. And the one thing that's become more and more obvious to me is I'm looking at it not from a financial point of view. It's like, I know money is just there, but it's not the reason I'm doing it anymore. I'm actually committed to understanding it and actually being able to predict on a better probability rather than just guessing, really. But let's have a look what happened here. Enough talking. It's been already, what, 11 minutes just talking about you know, trading in general, and learnings, and what I have done differently this week. So I would like to go through these trades and see what I thought they're gonna do and versus what they done, and looking at the trend, how the trend was, and how the trade has moved, because this is going to obviously set the move for next week, and I think it's quite important. And enough talking, like I said, let's get it. So first one on our list was Euro JPY, and as we can see, Euro JPY, I've never seen this truly, like, looking at them so closely. I mean, obviously we've done it just here. We had these ginormous weeks and we've done it just here. One massive, massive push to the downside. Now, this is weekly. We're looking at weekly right now. And as we started the week, obviously we were at the top, and I expected the continuation, a bullish continuation. And of course, it did completely the opposite. But let's just break it down. Let's just look at it, why it did that. And you can see there's two areas of interest here. Now, I have added another one because I realized at daily that there was another area of interest. And I thought, okay, let's have a look what's going on. So on a daily, let me see. Okay, cool bananas. We are, I'm just going to put the line chart so you all can see it better. So we had one touch, two touch, three touches, and four touches. So it looked like to me, oh my God, we have such a beautiful area of interest. So this one, I felt that it was redundant, even though this is also a legit area of interest, but it was a redundant area of interest to me at the time, because it looked like we are basically, we are rejecting this area of interest. So as the week has started, so what's this? This is Thursday, Wednesday, Friday, Monday. Okay. So Monday, as we were coming down, we were coming down to retest this area of interest. And not having this area of interest here, it looked like it may just do it, but it felt better having the area of interest slightly higher. Now, if we're dropping down to the 4-hourly and we're looking at this is where the interesting part starts, right? So Monday was just here. Sunday, that was the push on Sunday. Monday. So Monday started here. We had the push to the downside. And we basically, to my knowledge, I was waiting for the market to actually touch the area of interest at least, and have a rejection at the area of interest. But it didn't happen. But instead, what happened is I went and I've added, and this is not going to appear again, you bastard. Control Z. Oh, here it did appear. And I've added this area of interest because it was a legit area of interest. And what that told me is, hey, look, there's another area of interest here. So we are actually rejecting this area of interest. And we could potentially have an entry signal. And I look at it and I'm thinking, okay, there is an engulfing here, kind of rejecting the EMA. But weekly is bullish, daily was bullish at the time. So what am I waiting for, you know? So I unfortunately didn't take the trade because I was a little bit kind of stuck in between these two areas of interest. I thought, it doesn't really look good, but I have marked it. So I dropped to 1 hour and I tried to find a reason to enter. And then I see that we have more untidy, let's say, structure at the 1 hour, you know. So I didn't really find that engulfing signal that Alex is talking about, you know. But one thing that I was looking for was a lower time frame change of character. So for example, as we were coming down here, let's go to even 30 minutes. So going back to the 30 minutes, we are bearish, 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 bearish until a point where we changing to bullish. And I think that's about here. Now that was bearish still. Okay, that bearish there. Yeah, just up on, literally up on this point here, we changed to bullish. And let me just check again. So this was bullish. So high, 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 low. That stayed there. Okay, this is a low, 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 high. Low, 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 high. That stayed there. Okay, low, low, lower, high. So that was still bearish. Now high, 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 low. So this was the first time this changed the character, right? So after this signal here, when this actually happened, I would have waited for the market to show me that it has obviously decided to change the character. So this has finally broken the bottom of it, and it has reached the area of interest. However, I'm just going to delete this one here for a second because it hasn't reached the bottom. So I wasn't confident that, hey, we actually reached the area of interest. So I waited, and again, what happened? I can see that it went back down and became bearish again. So I was like, oh damn. So still retracing, still going down to the area of interest. So it was really, really confusing. And this is what I was talking about, understanding this entry signal. You can't get it perfect, but it has to at least make sense. And it didn't really make sense, but I was really looking for an engulfing at the lowest point. Now, see, this lowest point here didn't have an engulfing. This lowest point didn't have an engulfing. The only thing I actually had was the fact that we broke again above it here. We broke above it, and we then had a push to the upside. Now, this would be the only signal in my mind that I could see as true change of character, and we have clearly broken above and we stayed bullish. This closed engulfing, and basically I would have been able to take the trade, but I believe I went to the 1 hour mark, and that's what I marked it. No, 2 hours. No. Okay. And 4 hour. Okay, so there was definitely not that. I'm not 100% sure why that is right there, what it is. Oh, maybe that's what it is. I just there. That would have been just there. And the fact that we've finally broken above, so we reached the bottom, but ideally for me it would have been to kind of change the character and then have at least at the bottom of the change of character a really powerful push. So let's say we had the bearish move, and then we had this engulfing and then change of character. Now that engulfing would have at least indicated to me that, hey, we have started changing, and I would have then kind of step back and look for an entry signal. But it's been messy and it's been a bit untidy. But what I want to highlight is the fact that I expected it to go up, and it didn't, right? It went down, but look how much of a push it had. I'll just go to the 4 hourly. Look how much of a push we had before it actually changed the character. Look at this. So even if I was, let's say, risking it, so we had this push to the downside. We didn't actually change the character. This was definitely bearish. This would have indicated the shit out of it that it is bearish. The only thing that highlighted different was the fact that this was engulfing, and it said, hey, there's a lot of buyers in the market, so they have a lot of power, right? But then it pushed, right? I mean, look at this trade here. This is 1 2 3, 1 2 3. So my 0.5, my 1 to 0.5 would have been extra mega safe And the more I look at it, and I'm looking at it, the 0.5, the worst about it is that you have to risk your account 100% all the time. Now, if you do risk your account and you get it wrong, you lost the money, right? And that's the worst about it. And no sane trader will do that. But look, maybe all of you successful people have tried this, and now it's just my turn to try and get burnt. And we'll probably document it. I mean, most certainly document it and say, guys, look, it's worth trying, but it's not worth the stress. I feel bad. I feel sour. I feel sad. I was, maybe I'm going to say I had $350,000 and I decided to risk it all to make, another $300,000. But I don't know. So I think having having someone do it for you, at least you understand why they've done it. You understand the probabilities of you being successful, and I understand the probabilities of me being successful at the same time doing it for you. So that's the only reason I'm doing it. And I don't know, right now nobody's watching these videos, but maybe when you watch it, these videos have a lot of views, and hopefully I'm driving some fancy car and living somewhere in the forest in a nice and peaceful place. But we don't know. So this is part of the grinding. That's what I'm talking about. But now the interesting part for me is, apart from getting the the entry signal clearly is at the area of interest, and my area of interest is a little bit off, but it's still a very valid area of interest. So waiting for that change of character, maybe not the best idea. I don't know. I don't know. I think looking at how I want to trade, that change of character, and maybe just now that I'm thinking about it, maybe I need to watch that video again and see when the 15-minute change the character, is that the time that I'm gonna flip and go back to say 1 hour and find the entry signal. Maybe that's what I should do, because it is clear to me that this one here has rejected the EMA at the 4 hourly. So that's a good thing. And it is engulfing. This is engulfing, and the second one is engulfing, and then the third one was engulfing. Even if I was to take the trade there, even if I was to take the trade there, I would have most certainly still be making my money. Now the only thing with that, remember I have the other area of interest, so I would say I would have probably been down here with it. So that meant I would have never been able to make 1 to 3. It would have been a maximum of 1 to 1.2. But remember, I'm just taking half of that. So 1 to 5. So even entering after that full confirmation, I would have probably still been able to walk away with a decent trade. Ideally would have been to just wait for it to reach this point and then enter, but you never know. You do not know these things. So when I'm so far away from the area of interest, I'm scared to even enter. So you will be too. You will absolutely be too scared, and that's just part of it. I just realized my comments here. So we were definitely keeping an eye out for a bullish move, a potential bullish move. And of course it did still push to the upside, but clearly it didn't have enough volume in order to keep going. All right, so instead it's decided to go like right down. Like, I'm actually extra mega impressed with what he's done. Right, so let's just have a look at the overall picture again and try and understand what the heck is happening here. So we were and still are a bullish weekly. Weekly is bullish, and now we're basically having a ginormous retracement. Now, look how far this has been. Look how far it has been. Like, absolutely blows my mind. Anyway, there's nothing here that indicates to me that we have that we're gonna even stay bullish. And in fact, I feel that it is very possible that we're gonna see a continuation to the downside, but we'll wait and see what's happening tomorrow, because tomorrow morning the market is closing. If this candle closes below the weekly high low, we will have a change of character. This is going to be a bearish market, which means we're going to look for sales, and then we're going to drop to daily to look for sales. But we can see is a little bit of resistance areas right about here and also there. So it's possible that we might see rejection and a continuation to the upside. It is, but we're not going to know until the market is actually going to show us what's happening, right? So I can see even this time here on the 27th of April. See, this had a ginormous push to the downside. Following the following week started, and we had a ginormous push to the downside as well, filled basically the whole week, but then it closed all the way up, and it went up into like a bullish move, and then it failed to actually hold. And the funny thing is, at the time of this candle pushing down, the market was also bullish. So it is possible we're gonna witness the same thing. It is, but like I said, we don't know until we know. So we're just gonna wait and see. Wait and see. Just going down to daily, and what's here that's so special? It's just one big push. It's absolutely insane. The only thing that you can see is a lot of resistance at this level. So this imagine this area right here. You can't quite see it, but this right here, right now, this is an area of interest because we have 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 touches. So it's pretty respectable, which means the market is kind of struggling to go above that level. And that level is actually not even a psychological number. Such an annoying thing. Maybe this is? No, it's not. 87. 187. Like, honestly, yeah. I'm not sure what's making that react at that level. But that's just what it is, right? It's nothing that would have even indicated to us that we're gonna see a push to the downside, apart from the fact that it's done it in the past. And apart from the fact that we have been consolidating, and now basically went right down to the bottom. And right now it's having a push to the upside. So if this was below this area of interest and done exactly that, rejecting the EMA and the area of interest, we would have definitely expected a push to the downside. But I'm not too sure. I feel that it's gonna do exactly the same thing and go back up. And especially that we are above this area of interest, which you can see every time we come to it, we're rejecting, come to it, rejecting, come to it, rejecting. And just looking at just zooming in a little bit further, yeah, the more I look at it, the worse it looks for actually, not the better it looks for a continuation. But yeah, wow, this is horrible. Look at all of these 4 hourly, like such a. Let me see them actually for what they are. Such a tiny kind of size candles. Look at these dojis, breaking and retesting and a push to the upside. That's fantastic. Anyway, yeah. So I don't think we would have been able to spot anything. Even, I mean, there's no way. There's no way. But man, this would have been a freaking start of a trade if you actually had the knowledge to understand what it's doing, because this is a double top here, right? A double top with full engulfing. But the only thing that makes this be different is the fact that weekly is still bullish. So this would have been a counter trend for whoever took this trade. There would have been a counter trend trade, and this would have been your engulfing signal. And look how much you would have been able to make from the first. So this is 4 hourly for 8 hours. Look at this. In 8 hours, not that you would have gone that far, but maybe to about here. 1 to 6.8. If this was your $100,000 trade, that would have given you almost 700 grand. The money that people make in like a fucking lifetime from one single trade that you would have traded 100 grand. Now, you don't get these all the time, and it's hard to know and hard to get them, but this just shows the potential. This shows the potential, and that's why I really, really like it. And sometimes you may have to risk it. I mean, you look at this and you see, okay, rejecting, it's basically already given you an indication that is kind of going to the downside, but I can't really see change of trend and all of that stuff, because if you think about it, the 4 hourly trend at the time of this being here was bullish. So it broke roughly about here. So if you would have even tried to enter at this point, you would have been obviously in a moving candle. If you waited for that to close, it would have been at the bottom. So there would be no way you would have just guessed that's what it's doing. But I guess it's important to understand the news and whatever happened on that. Maybe there was some news that made it happen. Let's see, replay. Start new, bam. Okay, what news we have? Give me news. Give me news. No? Okay, so BOJ interest rates decision. Okay, so that was decision, and then the euro inflation rate year to year pre 1.8. I have no idea what the heck those means. Your revised down FY26 or financial year 2026 core CPI forecast as GOVT has revived peak summertime electricity, natural gas subsidies to help lower utility bill. Whatever that means. I guess I should ChatGPT it and understand. Maybe that's what created the push. I do not know. Anyway, guys, it's done and dusted. Done and dusted. But look, learnings, I guess, from it. I know I need to study more the entry signal and enter some freaking trades and make some freaking money, eh? All right, next one was Euro USD. Euro USD had exactly the same thing, and it's just pushed like an absolute maniac. Now for this trade, exactly the same thing I was just telling you. I could see here a head and shoulders at the lower time frame. I think it was at 30 minutes. That had the head and shoulders. Yep. Okay, cool. So this is the left, the head, and the right shoulder. And then we broke it below and we retested it. So basically my entry signal would have been right here. Bam. Now that is engulfing and it's just after the head and shoulders. So this has kind of proved to me that, hey, we are actually going to the downside, right? So the lower time frame has done exactly that, and it showed me, and I could have easily made this trade work to 0.5. What are we? Oh my god. Okay, let me just go to 4 hour because we can't see it. Okay, so 1, 2, that's it, literally there. Well, that's a ginormous area of interest. What the heck? Anyway, very small candles. I guess the pips is different here, but you can clearly see. You can absolutely clearly see how just applying that stupid little idea of mine of 0.5, if I was to physically not be an asshole and actually taken that trade, I would have had the opportunity to make, 1 to 0.74, which is bad. You wouldn't want that. You want to have at least 1 to 1, 1 to 2. Then that 0.5 is kind of certain. But I didn't. But what this highlights to me is, hey, even if you didn't, if you actually put the take profit and stop loss, you would have been able to monetize and not lose, even though this fully reversed and wicked the shit out of us. But from a trade point of view, we were below the area of interest. We were rejecting the EMA, but it went completely in the opposite direction. So how can you know? You're just never gonna know. I would honestly, if someone would say to me, Ricky, if you keep taking these trades at 0.5 at the correct place, you're never gonna have a loss. I would take that anytime, but of course that is not possible, and I'm more than aware of the fact that I'm gonna fuck it up one day, and I'm gonna be so mad at me for kind of burning all of that money. But equally, I'm gonna know that I've made it to that amount myself. Nobody gave it to me, so I would know that I'm gonna be able to make it again and apply the learnings. But anyway, all of you play games, I'm sure. I'm not playing games, but this is like a game to me, so I'm really enjoying kind of looking at it. There was no point breaking down what happened here, really, because the market did what the market wanted to do. This is all comments from last week. This week actually. Weekly bearish, daily bearish, just broke below the area of interest, 4-hour bearish and retracing. So how can you expect a bullish push when everything was bearish? Like, now, honestly, it's like, it's the last thing it's the last thing that I would be doing. But the reality is, if I was to listen to my own mind and thinking, I would have been able to monetize it. And the week before, same here, full engulfing, I could have monetized that. Probably more signals at this peak here. But the only thing is, this is above the area of interest, so I would have probably expected a push. But yeah, it is very, very interesting. It's it's just, it blows my mind every day. Every day blows my mind, and from believing that I kind of got it to basically not having it. Now, what's this one? Euro USD. I actually think. Oh, okay. Euro USD. Yep, that's the one that I've been holding forever on my demo account. This is the $5 million account. I'm not sure if it's. Is it clear? So we are minus 604,000. The worst we've been was minus $1.3 million. And right now, based on what I see, this is probably going to reject the EMA and possibly this area of interest here, even though I do think we have another area of interest. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, definitely. This can move now. This can move right here. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 touches. So this is very well respected area of interest. And we see rejection when we're coming down to it, which is very good. When we're coming through it, we see support from below. Wait, we see resistance from below and support from the top. Sorry. Yeah, so hopefully I can recover that trade, because that $5 million account has been my experimenting account. Since I've opened that account, $5 million account, I went as high as 1.3 million, and I went down. I lost all of that, but my account's still 5 million, which is great. Now I'm only down 600, which means I'm actually plus about $700,000 from my original trades if I was to exit today. But I believe this is going to go back up. It's going to go back up, and it's going to give me a break even at least, and we can close it successfully. I'm sure that will be irrelevant to anything out there. Then the lessons from it is all negative. Never do that again. So I just feel bad. So I just want to leave it, let it do its thing. And yeah, just looking at this thing here again, just trying to understand what I'm missing. Yeah, just consolidation and push to the upside. That's what it is. This could potentially come back down and push to the downside heaps more, but we're not gonna know. Our comments were definitely, bearish. Everything was bearish. We expected a push to the downside, not the upside. All right, let's say Euro USD, Euro AUD. Now Euro AUD at daily. Okay, what we have here. So this is done exactly the same thing. From below the area of interest, it just pushed like a son of a bitch to the upside. This trade could have made a 1 to 0.5 by the end of tomorrow, or as soon as the Monday morning push could make it happen faster than I expected. Weekly bullish, daily bearish, waiting for area of interest rejection plus EMA rejection. Okay, so Monday, we were right here, Tuesday, Monday. So let's see what the heck we've done here. So 4 hourly. Most of my trades I would enter at 4 hourly. So I was expecting that this is going to push to the downside, but it went straight up, straight to the. Wow, that's absolutely fantastic. Yeah, so from this point on, I was expecting a rejection of the EMA. See, doji, and then I expected that is gonna push to the downside. But the fact that highlights to me here that weekly was bullish. So weekly had so much power. Well, let me see weekly. So weekly was bullish. I don't know why I'm saying weekly bullish, because weekly is clearly bearish. Weekly is bearish. Daily is bullish. Okay, weekly, but that means I've misspelled these guys. Fucking hell. Okay, so everything was bearish, right? So we were expecting a push to the downside, but then it did completely the opposite. Yeah. And you can never know these things. Can absolutely never, ever, ever know. But the one thing that I would have known is that I did not get my entry signal. So I would have been able to avoid these no matter what. So I didn't take this trade because I, one, was struggling with understanding the entry signal, and two, my entry signal that I know was supposed to reject the EMA and the area of interest with the full engulfing and the doji, at least. But it didn't happen. It just pushed to the upside. So we would have got wicked out if we'd taken this, but we didn't, and we wouldn't have unless we had the show. All right, next. NZD USD. NZD USD, on the other hand, absolutely beautiful. So we expected that we're going to touch down on this area of interest and have a rejection and go to the upside. And that's actually exactly what this did. So Monday, Friday, Monday. Excuse me, guys. It's 12:31 a.m. I can't believe it's so late. I mean, we've been recording for 41 minutes. Fuck's sake. So this one, it's a good example to show how some trades go wrong, some trades go good. Now, I haven't taken this trade. It is clear that you could have taken it here after this engulfing, but we were not. I mean, yes, we tapped into the area of interest. However, this is late anyways, the week before, but this week, Sunday, Monday here. Okay, let me just get rid of it. Okay, so Monday, we started the week here. So I was expecting this to reach the bottom, and it did reach the bottom, man. The problem is this, in order to enter this, I would love for this to be a doji and a full engulfing next to it. Like, let me see if I can find an example. An example of one. So we are buying. 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 What are we? Buying. Buying? No buying? Damn, son. There's no signal. So this tells me that this would have never worked because this market never does that. Or I'm just too tired to see it. Hello? Okay, it's coming. This is 4 hourly. This should definitely have some dojis at the area of interest. Anyway, look, it is what it is. You get the idea. I'm basically looking for a signal that looks similar to this, like a doji and a full engulfing besides of it. So yeah, probably this, I should do that with the other markets and just look at them. See, this is a doji here, exactly this, but opposite. That's what I would have expected to see here. At least an engulfing. If that would have engulfed, that would have been amazing. Now you're looking at it here. So this has come back down to retest it, and then it gave me the engulfing. Even if I was to take it there, I should have felt pretty safe to enter to make my 0.5. But when I'm so far from the area of interest, I'm just really scared. I do not know why. It's just how I feel. And there's something I want to add. Something I want. If I'm able to stay up and wait, there's a thing that happens. I'll show you. Replay. Start new. There's a thing that happens once the market starts going up heaps. So let's just have a look at this now so you understand what I'm talking about. If I was to be in this trade right now, of course there's a ginormous wick. Maybe I should take it back a notch. One more. Okay, cool. So right now we're coming back down to test this, and we're gonna have probably I'm not gonna be able to stop this. Yeah, there you go. So this would have straight away one candle give us the 1 to 0.5, but then you're thinking, what what if I can hold and make more money? So right now this candle had such a big push that is a blue candle. So I would normally go to daily and have a look at daily, and daily is blue. And then I'll have a look at weekly, and weekly is also blue. So what I normally do, if weekly, daily, and 4 hourly are blue, I just hold. Because if they all the same color, the chances of them all changing color, very, very slim. But the minute that daily has changed color, there's high possibility that that's the end of it. So I normally stop the trade once once I reached that daily kind of changing. So if I'm actually just gonna play here on daily, because so it's gonna happen fast, or maybe just go to 4 hourly because the daily will happen too fast. If I was to play this right now, let me just get another candle. Boom, another candle. Let's have a look at daily. Daily is blue, weekly is blue. So I would be normally and naturally holding. And then I'm going back to 4 hourly. I have another candle. Let's close this candle. Blue. Okay, so we're going to daily. Daily is blue, weekly is blue. So again, they have exactly the same color. So naturally I would have waited, but this is only if I am awake and like responsive, like not freaking half asleep. Let's just go back and get another 2 candles so we don't have to waste your time. 1, 2, 2 candles. All right. So by this point in time, I would have been up 1 to 0.87, right? So this would have been above my normal take profit. And again, daily or 4 hourly is blue, daily is blue, weekly is blue, and I'm approaching a risky area of interest, which is weekly high, right? So right now I'll go drop down to 4 hourly and I would push play again. And I want to show you when, there you go, see, if I was to wait for these 4 hours to close, I would have straight away doubled this trade. So let's say, just hypothetically, this trade was the $10,000 trade. I would normally exit at 0.5, but because I could see that all of the candle colors are aligned, I would be like, I'm not closing this trade, I'm going to hold. And if that was $10,000 and I would have waited for these trades to close, I would have been able to make almost $20,000, right? So that would have been amazing. And I want you guys to realize this because I understood this pretty early on. I have even tried to trade with no area of interest, no market structure, literally just based on color. So if you're actually looking at the market when daily, weekly, and 4 hourly align on the color, you have got a push, a minimum of 0.5 push. That's how the 0.5 actually started. But I wasn't able to be sustainable just based on the momentarily trend. And that's how I realized that it was a bit brave thinking that's going to work. I actually thought I had a aha moment and I figured out how all of the successful traders make money. I thought that's it. They just follow the colors and they know. And honestly, when I discovered that, I was blinding myself. I would ask my trading partner, say, hey, just pick a trade, go anywhere you want, and I'll make you money. And I honestly did it for like 16 times, all in a row. Boom, 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 boom. I all made money. So I was pretty impressed with it. But following this little step would allow me to know when to exit. And I'll show you that now. So let's say we're going back to 4 hourly. We are there now and play again. The minute that you're going to see a red candle, okay, red candle now. So we have a pullback, right? And you're going to daily. Daily has got a red candle. So right now, this would indicate to me just exit, right? You can push it further because weekly, of course, hasn't closed. It hasn't got a wick, right? Now, if you are a greedy fuck, you would carry on waiting. If you are someone like me, you would just take the money there and run, right? So I would walk away from this trade with 1 to 1.66. So double and more than what I've put in on this trade, right? So that's basically my secret, let's say, on when I would actually exit at 0.5 and when not. Now, if you're going back to the other trades for a quick one, Euro JPY, for example, this was good. USD, this was also good. Now this one here, if I show you this, exactly the same. Let's take the bar. So let's say we are here. Oh shit. Okay, let's say here. So we're now chasing red candles, right? Daily is blue. So straight away, we know that daily is against us. So if this little thingy, I would have actually pay attention to this when I was marking this trade even, I would have realized that I'm going against daily, which is really important. And going to weekly, weekly is also blue. So the only one that was red was 4 hourly, right? And I stood no chance. Let's play this. Play this once. I had a push. Let's have a look at daily. Guess what? It's still blue. Look at weekly. Guess what? It's still blue. Okay, let's go back to 4 hourly and play one more. Okay, red again. Daily, still blue. Weekly, still blue. Who has the power? Freaking daily and weekly, because the higher time frame. And if the trend there is, bullish, and the color is the trend color, is not retracing, then that's exactly what's going to happen. So, I should be able to use this as a confluence next time, and be able to actually, avoid taking a trade that's against the higher time frame current move, and that's pretty freaking interesting, isn't it? That's why when I've actually designed this indicator with the color of the candle, I specifically call the candle color, so I understand what's happening. And that the thing that's annoying me a little bit is I wasn't able to get it to work accurately, to be able to look at it. So I'm not looking at it because I know it's not so accurate, and I kind of dropped it. If you're looking at weekly, it says it's red, it says sell, and so is daily. But if we're looking at daily here and weekly, clearly is not fucking red, is it? So it's got a glitch. It's got something I just can't figure it out how to actually make. But if I go, hold on a second, if I go to daily, that says that daily is blue, but weekly is still red. If I go to weekly, now it changed again. So it's struggling with bringing the lower time frames and the upper time frames to just show them on the same display, unfortunately. But the realization that we're having now is that you do not want to put a trade when it's against the freaking high time frame. Let's play one more candle. Okay, so that's red. Let's see, has daily changed? Now daily finally flipped. So daily is on my side right now, but that was such a high risk. It was almost like not worth it. Okay, and we're going back to weekly, and weekly is also changed. So at this point, this is where I should have actually taken this trade if this was the area of interest, right? But being so far down, it's like it's it's not it's not worth it to take a trade so down in the piece, right? And the next candle is going to obviously change absolutely everything. But at least if I was to take this trade, I would be able to say that it would have been a safe trade. As in, I would have made that 0.5, but very risky, very, very risky. Let's just get another candle and see what's what. Okay, so now that's blue again. So you're going to daily and it's blue. You're going to weekly and it's blue again. So it's screaming. It's screaming at me, Ricky, exit now. Exit now. Do not wait for it. Just exit now so you can exit in profit. And if I was to take this trade and not exit after this candle here, I would have absolutely called myself a moron. At the end of the day, even if you exit here, you're exiting in profit. It's so, like, for a beginner trader, I'm telling you, that's gold. So I think that the whole idea of the trading lab, the journal thingy, it's not just someone trying to create a program or create a new trading or teach trading. It's like it's showing learning trading, which is so amazing, because these videos that make a trader, they have no value when they happen. But once the trader has become a successful trader and he has wings, you can go back and see where the fuck he's actually had the breakthrough. And I think piece by piece, little brick by brick, there's new things that I'm learning, new things that I'm improving. Learning basically the Chinese, because this is actually worse than Chinese, I'd say. Or maybe not, maybe Chinese is worse than this. But if you really, really, really wanted to learn Chinese, like give yourself every week, every time you had, every week, like give it an hour, 2 hour, and just look at it and learn it and go see people if you can, network with people. I'm pretty sure in a years you would be pretty far with Chinese speaking and writing, and you would be able to do it. I think it's exactly the same with trading. The more you would look at it and the more you would understand what's going on, you would be able to be successful and create like your own thing, because everybody's different. Someone is a scalper, someone is a day trader, someone is an intraday trader. I like to think of myself as a day trader, but I'm kind of focusing at one trade a week, which I know it can be not the best, but if I can take one trade a week and take that account from 1,000 to 1,500 bucks, I would love to do it and just keep doing that. But hey, this was pretty amazing. I'm really, really glad that we did this breakdown. Let's just play again, see this one, how would have played out. So right now that's red. It's probably back down to 0. It's still blue. Weekly's red now. It's basically given me another chance to take my profit at 0.5, right? And now, of course, we know what's coming, but the reality is we can clearly see the only signal that we had was this engulfing, and the push has kind of ended, and then we consolidated and we had a push to the upside to reject this area of interest again, to then have a push to the downside. But it is pretty damn clear that it is struggling. We do not have as much momentum. We're struggling going past this point. It's like really, really solid. We can see it exactly that it's come up and it's just stopping there. It looks like it's really, really struggling, and it looks like that now. But see, when you are in a trade and you kind of hoping that it's going to go your way much more, you get a little bit distracted and a little bit stuck, you see. But if you zoom out, it may be hard to see like that, but if you're looking at the bigger picture, weekly bigger picture, you may make a different understanding of it, you see. It is still not, I wouldn't say that, oh my god, I can see so much here, right? But let me get rid of some candles, see if we can see some fancy patterns here. Yeah, I don't know, I don't really see anything fancy. Let's delete that. Yeah, I don't really see anything fancy, so I would have not been able to recognize this. The only thing I can recognize is that I'm below the area of interest. But now, something that's just highlighted to me now, after this move has happened, I realize that this area of interest is pretty fucking wrong. And this again highlights to me how important it is to have the area of interest in the right place. Because the reality is, this is not even a valid area of interest. I mean, let's say it is valid because we have 1, 2, 3, 4 touches, but this is not. This is just too much gibberish. It's too small. It's just like a little bump. It's not really it. But the reality is, this would have been it. See, we have one big peak, even a small reaction, another big rejection or support rejection, another support rejection, and we are almost, I would say, at a support level rather than resistance. We are still currently above that area of interest. And if I was able to not be a dick and actually do this, because you probably realized by now, if you are watching my videos or if you will be watching my videos until today, the 1st of the 8th, the 1st of August 2026, I've been lazy and not checking the areas of interest. And this is what can happen, if you don't actually recheck them, you will fuck it up. So from now on, my job is to recheck the areas of interest and make sure they're good, and also check the width, because they cannot be bigger than 50 pips. Now clearly this is a valid area of interest now. And going back to daily, Back to daily, this is an absolute valid daily area of interest with multiple touches, both resistance and support. But what that means now is when you're looking at the candles, it kind of it highlights the fact that we haven't really broken below the fucking thing, you know. And now if I broke below, I was thinking, okay, well, we're selling, but the, this already looks wrong. I mean, just looking at it, and I'm like, nah, that's not gonna happen. I mean, I'm already at weekly low. Now, why would you look for a sell when the price is already cheap? You want to sell when his price is high. So I would wait for this to get a lot higher before it would go to the downside, right? So yeah, this is again eye-opening. This is an amazing lesson for today, guys. Absolute. Now, if I play this just for the sake of it, okay, we can see that now change to blue. To daily is blue, weekly is blue, 4 hourly is of course is blue. So I would have been already in a loss right now. And let's play one more. Okay, I'm still in profit now. I haven't got wicked out, so I'm still kind of counting on this. I just want, okay, substantial red. So daily's blue, weekly's blue. So this is how important the color of these freaking candles are. And I would say the best thing to do is do not fight daily and weekly. If daily and weekly they are blue or red, you should try and follow them for a sell. You know, I mean, unless weekly has reached a turning point, as in it has done a head and shoulders and is rejecting the area of interest from resistance, then of course, even though it's bullish, if it's red and you're putting a counter trend trade, then that's fine. But even then, as long as weekly is red and daily is red and you putting sales on, then most certainly you're going to be able to make money on that trade. But otherwise, I don't think you're going to make it. But this is pretty freaking phenomenal. Bam, that's it. I got wicked out. I lost 10 grand, guys. Is gone. And look at daily, blue as fuck. Look at 4 hour weekly, sorry, it's blue as fuck, you know. And now that I'm looking at this is literally a double top. Let's flip this so we can see it. It's actually a double bottom now, but it looks a little bit better when it's opposite to me. Invert scale, see? So we reached that, we're rejecting, we're coming back down, and we're rejecting it. So guess what's happening now? Of course, it's going to have a push to the downside, and I know that. But because I had that area of interest in the wrong place, I wasn't able to pick that. And now look at this. Bam, bam, bam. You see? So it created a double top, and then it retested the area of interest, and now it's going to homecoming. What is it called? It's going to take it home. The victory. That's it. Yeah. That was a good lesson. I'm so glad I went back to actually have a look at it. Because what is going to happen now? I think it's going to carry on to the downside. I don't think it's going to flip yet. Now this is red. Daily is red. Weekly is blue. So weekly still has a push. So we haven't seen the end of it, guys. Okay, let's go invert scale back there. So yeah, that's my breakdown. That's my learning from it. So that's a big breakthrough. I mean, a big reminder, because I knew of this call. The reason I created this fucking indicator was for that reason, but I should just take it off there because I'm not using it. And also I have the EMA, so when you're putting a sell, it is the best to be below or at the EMA. When you're putting a buy, you should be at the EMA or just above. If you are too above the EMA, then definitely put a sell. If you are too below it, then definitely put a buy. But it's clearly, I need to get rid of that. And I'm just going to stick to just the market structure. Now, I know the market structure, the trend works really well. Like, I would say 95% well to be displayed on different time frames. But yeah, guys, this was such an amazing lesson. I'm actually excited for next week. We might be seeing some trades. Please, if we can see some trades, it would be absolutely fantastic. Now let's have a look at this quickly. Monday. See, so this one here, it just happened that it went to the bottom, and it was a beautiful trade. I could have made 1 to 4, but remember, I'm struggling with the entry signal. So what do I need to do? Figure out the entry signal, because it's a trade that I've obviously not taken. So what first thing to do, go to weekly, because I haven't done it. I just go to candles, so we can mark the areas of interest. So right now we are in between the top and the low of weekly, so we have got a valid area of interest right here. Get rid of this because we don't need it. Come on, is that it? Yeah. We obviously have 1, 2, 3 touches, so this is a very valid area of interest and a very narrow. What is this? Oh my god, this is a very good area of interest. Holy shit, that's only at 12.2 pips. Fuck, you know, that's very beautiful. Now this area of interest here, now it's not a valid weekly area of interest, but it is down here. Now, because I was a moron and I haven't marked it, well, I don't get to enjoy it. So what is this? Let's see. What are we? This is 20 pips. Okay, cool. So we know this can be wider. If that's only 20 pips, that means this is a valid area of interest. So remember, a valid area of interest according to Alex is 60 pips. Now we are at 35 pips. So this is a very good area of interest, which is a weekly area of interest and most certainly a daily area of interest. Now, according to Alex, we only want to pick up the areas of interest that are happening in between the weekly low and low high. You do not want to go below it or above it. However, for this instance here, we clearly have 1, 2, 3, potentially 4 touches, but we're going to leave that alone because it's too far. But I'm just going to adjust this again. So I'm going to lift this there so it's touching and lift this so it's touching here. So this area of interest, let's change this. Weekly and daily AI. Oh, you bastard. Control C. Okay. Okay, and I'm confident that it is daily as well, because usually if it is weekly, it's going to be daily as well. Oh, let's delete that because we don't need it. And we can get rid of that. Now, the reason I had them outside, sometimes it kind of highlights to me where the price may actually reach, but it's obviously not ideal. So this is where we are now, okay? So now that we have these areas of interest confirmed and checked, and they're valid, we can now go to daily and just check as well for daily area of interest. Now, daily area of interest, it is daily. Okay, so, okay, let's take this one from here. Okay, Control C, Control V. Okay, so daily, there. Bam, 1. So this is only daily. Daily. Control C, I don't know what I did, but it looks like a bad name. Okay. And then weekly and daily. Now, weekly and daily. So this area at the bottom, I can literally just widen this up a little bit, and we are in a valid area of interest for daily and weekly. So let's see how many pipski we have here. Okay, so this is 35. Absolutely beautiful area of interest. Okay, cool. Now this one here, it is, okay, what do we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, cool. Now this is a very valid area of interest. Let me just go back to weekly. No, so it needs to stay there for weekly. So it cannot change. But I have seen Alex. And sometimes he just squeezes them together to get the best action out of it. But I don't think it matters because it is in a good place. Now, there's an area of interest here, clearly, so I would be expecting a rejection or some sort of movement in that because it's pretty respected, you know. So that this is a level where market usually reacts from, and mostly is a rejection from it. It's not a support, it's a rejection. But based on where the price is at the moment, and having weekly, I'm still in replay, okay, cool. Having weekly and daily bearish, we would normally be looking for sales. So based on what we have just discovered, I shouldn't say discovered because we knew about this, but based on what we have remembered, this is a red candle. So if I was to look for a sell now at daily, I can definitely see this was engulfing, full engulfing, right? So my entry signal would have been just after that has closed. So just going back to the 4 hourly and have a look at the peak. Now, if you listen to Alex speaking, he's saying when you see doji rejection, that's a good sign because that area of interest is a very good area of interest, and it would basically be just showing you that is very like rejecting, right? Rejection means you can actually confirm your move, right? But like looking at it, it just doesn't film like I would have not traded. That's the bottom line. I would have not traded that because it is at the area of interest, but I'm also at this very well respected area of interest. So you're basically selling into the area of interest, which is really, really stupid. You shouldn't sell into the area of interest, but you should focus on selling in between the areas of interest where the price can move, not where the price can do the gibberish, and just like move like that. I mean, if I was to take this trade, I would have had to wait for it 2 days. Oh, 2 days is a 4. Easy. We'll do this. Enter here, exit here. How much is this? 1 day and 12. 1 day, wait, that's not bad. That's not bad at all, to be honest. But it is clear that it was just what the market did, but it didn't really respect the areas of interest. Now, what I would have liked to see for this to be a valid area of interest, I would have liked to see the rejection creating like a double top. Now, this is some sort of a double top, but it's the ugliest, and maybe this is what I'm gonna figure out later. See, this has come here, rejected, that tiny part rejected and create a double top, and then had to push to the downside. But again, going to this, I would have loved, well, and saying that this is actually engulfing, this is full engulfing. So in theory, I could have put my entry right there, bam, and have my maybe stop loss obviously just above the wicks, but to be safe, I would have pushed it to 30 pips. And what I mean by being safe, just in case someone decided to wick us out, and I would have been able to take my 0.5 right there after the first candle closing. So this is pretty important, I'd say, pretty important. But Monday. See, Monday was literally just consolidation and then push to the downside. But what I want to do is I want to take this bar and do our candle trick. So this is red. Just go to daily. Now daily is red, rejecting, which is beautiful. Weekly is blue. So weekly is blue, which means we are trading against weekly, which is, yes, it is bearish. Weekly is bearish, and it's probably going to end up rejecting the area of interest. But this is a risky move, if you're asking me. Now I know the market has moved, of course, but I would have rather have weekly already a red candle. But let's see what happens now after this one. Bam. Okay, so we had this ginormous push to the downside. Daily was red. Weekly was nothing. Weekly was just a doji. Yeah. Now, weekly being a doji still wouldn't fill me up with confidence, but it would definitely make me feel better. So that means I would have entered there and had my stop loss there, which made it even worse. But I still had my 0.5 potential, right? So let's see next. Push, play. This is 4 hourly. We see a push to the downside now. We should, in theory, have a red daily. Now, daily is clearly not red. Why is that all blue? What have I missed? And for weekly is red. I don't know what I missed here. Why is that blue? What only? Oh, okay, it was just behind. Sorry, it was just behind. So daily is red. Everything is in position now, right? So I could have committed at this point, knowing that this is red, everything is red, and probably made a home run. Red, red, doji, blue. Okay, so that's blue, blue, blue. Ah, shit, that gave us another one. So just looking at daily, daily still red, weekly is still red. So I thought they shut down. Daily still red. So we would have been in trade still. Okay, we would have definitely still been in trade now. Daily red, weekly red. Okay, cool. So it is clear to me that the minute that all the candles have the same color, so even though I avoided entering after this engulfing here because it was basically reaction, it could have reacted of this area of interest and reject and go back up, but as long as the color of the candle has been the same, it it was sustainable, and basically I would have made my 1.5 already and exited. Or because you're watching it and the color of the candle is exactly the same, I could have potentially taken a 1 to 1.6 and maybe more. Let's see. Play. Okay, see more. One more red, one more red. Okay, one more red. So this highlights to me how important it is to be able to do this. And see, everything is red here, weekly is red. I can make sense of it, and I can enter, even though entering so late. Entering so late, I would have still made 1 to 2. So that's really good. And this is just one of those things that wait for the market to show you. Now, of course, this is replay, so it happens a lot more faster. But all these little wicks, they were originally blue, So um, how you would be reacting seeing them go blue and then red, I do not know. I need to try it and see. But one thing is for sure, if daily, weekly are having the same color, it would be wise to try and follow it on a 4 hourly. Then you most certainly can get your trade, and that's something I need to try and improve. See, now that's blue, and this was blue all the way here. So I'm just going to put a line here because I want to see. That's the thing that I don't like about replay trading. It doesn't actually show the candle forming and then going back. That's the bitch. All right, so daily. Okay, so daily was still red, but it just pulled back all the way to there. And then weekly was red and it just pulled back to there. So it's pretty intense. Pretty intense, but hey, you would have still been in trend, which is the amazing thing. And you would have still had your money. Okay, cool. And we're seeing rejection, and now it's going to turn back. But hey, let's see. Daily blue. So what did we say? Daily blue, we exit. No more trading, right? Even though we may have a big push, but we just stop there. That's it. So right now, we would have taken our profit there because we were greedy and we waited a tiny little bit too long. It was clear to me that when this ginormous candle has pushed back and then closed so close to our take profit, it was a no-brainer to just exit. And you just need to know when. Like if your normal take profit was here and you double that, and then you added another 50% on top of that, then just being stupid. Um, that's part of what you need to learn and do, right, and control yourself. But yeah, like that was a beautiful lesson, and I'm really truly looking forward for next week's analysis, and hopefully we can take some trades. But yeah, what can I say? I hope whoever finds these videos, and if you are like me, just learning how to trade, and hopefully by the time you find this, I'm gonna be successful, so you can actually, figure out where I started being successful and trying to apply the same logic. But I will lie to you if I say to you that you're going to be successful just seeing what I have become successful, because Alex is successful. He's teaching us every day for free. And yet we're still dumb. I'm dumb. I'm fucking losing money. I'm not making money. So the reality is, guys, if the easiest way to describe it, I keep going to the Chinese. If you reading all of the Chinese books in the world, and you, like, let's say you're reading the English books about Chinese and how to learn Chinese. You're reading that in English about Chinese, how to learn it, but until you actually practice Chinese, you're never going to be successful at speaking Chinese. So it doesn't matter how many videos I watch, it doesn't matter how many strategies I look at, it doesn't matter how many trades I take and um, I'm accidentally successful, unless you're putting the time into them to physically break them down, understand what went up, what went down, what went good, what went bad. I don't think you're going to be a good trader. So what I'm doing now is going to be beneficial for me because I'm actually training myself. I'm speaking to myself. I'm speaking to you guys. I get better English out of me. I better terms and becoming better overall. For you just watching it, you really need to pretty much do what I do. Just go through it and look at me, what I've actually done different and what I've seen and what I've learned. And that's when you have to. And I'm speaking like that because I'm thinking when you're gonna get to this video, I'll be successful. All right, you have to stay positive. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next one, at the next one, all right? And that's going to be Sunday. And hopefully, we have a good week next week. Thank you. See you.